Today we're going to take a look at the two Jupiter 2 ships produced by Trendmasters for the 1999 film Lost in Space. Like the Bubble Fighters, they produced two different sizes of the Jupiter 2. On the left we have the small version, and on the right the large version. Although actually with these it's quite hard to tell the difference between the two. They are near enough the same size. There's a little bit of more bulk on the large version, but it's pretty much the same. Both ships feature the same paint job and detailing, and pretty much the same gimmicks as well. These are electronic toys, so let me press the one on the right and you will hear the sound effects. The small one has exactly the same sound effects. There's lights as well, as you can see, flashing. So let's take a look at the gimmicks for these. We'll start with the small one. So this is the small Jupiter 2. It features a couple of gimmicks from the movie. There's a button here. If I press this, the hyperdrive sections of the ship fire out. This the ship does in the movie, and it's actually quite a nice sort of feature. It changes the shape of it, and then to put them back in you just push on the back and they clip back in place. It also has missile launchers. On this one you press here and some launchers pop up with the missile firing mechanism on the left there. Quite a good thing about this is that they supply space for you to store the missiles. If we flip the vehicle over, you can see in here there's a nice little handy place to store 4 missiles. This is quite good. It stops you from losing them or accidentally firing them off. So that's quite a nice feature. And then on the front, if I open the cockpit section, if I can remember how to do this, like that, you'll see it comes with 2 figures. You get a small Don West there that fits in the cockpit seat. He's a little bit fiddly to fit because he comes with a really large gun, as you can see there. So he's a little bit hard to get into the cockpit, but with a bit of sort of fill-in you can get him in. And it also comes with the sort of future damaged version of the robot, which fit quite nicely inside that cockpit there. So let's just get that in, and you can shut that down. There you go. And there's one final feature on this. Is there's a blast away panel. If I just pull this button here, this panel should ping off like that, revealing some detailing and damaging on the inside of the ship, and that's quite good. Again, this has a magnet on it, so the spiders that I've shown you in other reviews will attach to it. So it's just quite a nice sort of gimmick to add there. Let's put that back in place. Let's take a look at the larger Jupiter 2 ship. This features many of, well, in fact all the same features as the small one. So let's start with the hyperdrive mode. If I press this button on the back, the different sort of sections and bits fire out of this ship. This is again the key moment in the movie, so it's quite a good feature. And again, you put it back in place just by pushing them in. It also has missile firing. If I push on this bit here, some a missile launcher pops up, and again there's 2 buttons on the side. This has 2 extra missiles that the small one doesn't have, so you can see here on the side. Again, if you press this button here, the missiles would fire out. Again, it has an opening cockpit. This looks a little odd on this one because they've again had to scale it up to be larger enough to fit a figure. If I open the cockpit there, you can see all you can fit inside this one is one of the action figures, and it looks a little strange. The smaller vehicle looks much better. It does again have the blast away panel feature as well on the side. Exactly the same method. You press a button and the panel flies off. Let's put that back in place. And again, it has the handy missile compartment to store your missiles. If I flip the vehicle over, you'll see on the bottom here a space that the missiles go into. These hold in reasonably well. They do come loose, as you see there, but it's quite a good place to store them and stops them from getting lost. As with the Bubble Fighter models, I tend to prefer the smaller version of this ship just because the cockpit section hasn't been sort of oversized to fit figures, and because the detailing is pretty much the same across both ships, I think it just sort of works much better. Actually, looking at these side by side, you can see that the smaller one does have slightly more of a paint job to it. There are some more defined detail lines around the hyperdrive section and back plate, but really, if you can find either of these ships, I would get them. They are quite nice. It's a fairly hefty ship as well. It's got some real weight to it, and they do look pretty good on display. Not the easiest things to display, because there's nothing really on it that you can use to sort of attach to anything, so they just have to sit on shelves. Overall though, nice design for ships, fairly sort of simple, but they do look pretty good. Again, don't turn up particularly often on eBay, but I'm sure if you hunt around you'll find them. And if you're a completist like me, it's always good to get the whole set of these things. Thanks for watching.